This quilt, my grandmother Lenore Weeks Eggers made, and I believe it's just called a fan pattern. When you put 4 of them together, it's a Dresden plate, but when you put the blank squares between them, it's a fan pattern. And of course you can vary the pattern quite a bit by how you turn it. If you'll notice over here, it says grades 1, 2, and 3. And my grandmother stitched that into the quilt to indicate, to remind people that she made all of my mother was a twin, identical twin, or they weren't identical. They were, my mother had blue eyes and my auntie has brown eyes, but other than that, they look the same. So my grandmother made 2 of everything, 2 matching dresses, all the way through high school. So grades 1, 2, and 3, this fan pattern was made from the scraps from their dresses from 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. And it's a very pretty quilt. And my auntie, this is a pretty quilt. My auntie has the most coveted quilt that my grandmother made, and it was a double wedding ring quilt. That's a fancier pattern with smaller pieces and more work. And when my grandma and grandpa were getting up in their years, she lives in Florida. She came to borrow that quilt and take it to the cleaners, and that was the last we ever saw of it. So she's got the double wedding ring, but I've got this fan quilt, and it's a pretty quilt.
Did she make these quilts for anybody? Were they just like family quilts?
Oh, these were made to go on the beds here in this house. She did in later life. She made a quilt for each of her 9 grandchildren. But these quilts were made to go on the beds here, on the guest beds, and they were made for her house, for her. Well, and now that's interesting how you think about it. I mean, the quilts are kind of like a dowry. It's kind of like, in some cultures, like when a woman is going to get married, the groom has to buy a lot of gold jewelry, or different cultures have different ways to give value, or you might have to have 20 sheep, or to trade for your bride or something. But I don't know. Here in Appalachia, boy, your quilts. How many quilts have you got, and what do they look like? It's a different kind of social status, I think, because I think it's a social status of love, really. I know if I go to my neighbor's house and we talk about, well, can I see your old quilts or something? They'll bring them out, just with the tenderness of a newborn baby. We don't do this. We don't do this too much anymore. But it's absolutely a demonstration of all the love and caring and hope that you can offer a family member. And to be cherished and passed down and still exist after most of these people are long gone, The love's still there.